Hi, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Megan.
Welcome to the Grimdark Diaries.
We're your geek gal pals obsessed with true crime and all things dark and disturbing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Right before we started officially recording, Megan did a magic spell in her microphone, and it was wild, and her volume was all over the place.
Yep.
I watched her just wave her hand, and her microphone went wild.
It was pretty wild. I don't know what happened. My Audacity just went completely, peaked out, and I was scared. Because you're editing this podcast episode.
Yeah, please do not scream in your sound file.
Seems to be only when you're editing for some reason.
Yeah.
But we're all good.
Oh, God.
I think
we just figured it out. Megan does it on purpose.
That's right.
She's trying to give me more work. She's resentful of me for some reason.
Absolutely not. I could never resent you for anything. You're like the nicest person.
I'm okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a story for you.
Oh, I'm excited to hear.
I made a woodland friend by accident. And my husband's not happy about it.
Uh-oh. What is the woodland friend?
Well, first we need to travel back in time to October.
What? Okay.
Because I purchased some pumpkins because it was the festive season. And I purchased some larger pumpkins, and then I purchased this little baby pumpkin, and it was so cute that I had to get it from the pumpkin patch.
Aww.
Right? So we had them out on our front step for Halloween, and then after Halloween, I took them inside, and because I don't like carving them, I just like displaying them.
Yeah.
But then I scooped out all the pumpkin seeds, because I love pumpkin seeds, in the big ones, and I roasted them and ate them, and they were delicious.
Oh, nice.
With maple syrup and coconut sugar, if anyone is wondering.
Oh.
And a little bit of sea salt.
That sounds good.
Very yummy.
Yummy.
Very delicious. So anyway, I did that with the big pumpkins. But the little pumpkin, it was so cute, I couldn't cut it open. I didn't want to.
It was a baby.
It was so cute. So then my husband was like, well, you got to put it in the compost. But I didn't want to, because he was so cute and I just wanted to keep him forever. So I put him on our back deck and just kind of tucked him beside the house. So unless you were out on the deck, you couldn't really see it, like just looking through the patio doors.
Yeah.
Like you would have to kind of look down, which you wouldn't really be doing.
Right.
So it was just there. And then we didn't really go outside on the back deck because it's cold now and it snows here all the time.
Yes.
And so
true.
we weren't using our backyard anymore, really.
Right.
And so then the pumpkin has just been there for months, and then it got cold here, so then it froze, so then it never went rotten or anything.
Oh,
it just was frozen.
You're lucky. That
right?
could have been
I know.
a mess.
And my husband a couple times he would see it when he was going, because our recycling bins and stuff are in the back and we bring them around front.
Right.
And a couple times he would see it when he'd be out there and he'd be like, you got to get rid of that pumpkin. And I would check it and I'd be like, no, it's still good. And then 2 weeks ago, he was like, I'm getting rid of that pumpkin. And he went to pick it up by the stem and it was frozen to our deck. So when he pulled it, just the top came off.
Oh!
Just the stem.
Like you cut into it almost.
Yeah. So it was frozen to the deck and we couldn't get it off. So then we left it there with its little stem ripped out. And then the day after we had that big snowstorm on the weekend,
yes,
I looked outside and a little friend had found the pumpkin because it was half eaten.
Really?
Yeah, and there was little pumpkin seeds all over the snow on our deck. So then I was really excited because I was like, I have a woodland friend. I've attracted animals. This is my Disney princess Wiccan dream come true.
Exactly.
So I showed him and I was so excited and he was less excited. And then the next morning he came to get me and he was like, you need to look out on the deck. And something returned during the night and ate more of the pumpkin. What? And I was like, oh, they came back. And he's like, look under the barbecue, because we have a big barbecue with a cover. And there was a pile of pumpkin guts and seeds under there. So he was like, I think whatever you attracted is living in the barbecue now, and I have to get it out. Whoops.
Oopsie daisies.
Yep.
Was it a squirrel?
Yeah, we think it was probably a squirrel.
Oh, you don't even know.
We don't even know because
okay.
we had a lot of snow on our back deck because we had a snowstorm. For anyone that doesn't know, we live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and we had a really freaking brutal snowstorm last Saturday.
Did we ever?
Oh, so much freaking snow.
Yeah.
So he went out to shovel our back deck just because it was heavy back there, so he didn't want the weight of all the snow on it. And then he rattled around the barbecue a little bit and shoveled off the pumpkin guts. And then he pried the frozen, because there was still some of the pumpkin left. Like the bottom half of the pumpkin was still there. So he shoveled that off. And then in our backyard, Megan knows what it looks like, but it's very odd looking little forest back there.
It looks like little fairyland, or like
it does.
It's not a winter, like a woodsy wonderland back there.
It is. It looks very magical.
Yeah, it does.
And there's 2 trees kind of in the middle, and they're very close together. There's only maybe like 2 feet between them, and it's all snow back there. And he decided to take the remaining pumpkin and place it directly in the center of those 2 trees, so it looks like some kind of weird ritual offering.
That's hilarious. I actually heard that is what you're supposed to do with your pumpkins after Halloween or after October.
Yeah.
You take the pumpkin, you take the stuff out of the pumpkin, and then you're not supposed to leave it as like a whole pumpkin because they could get their heads stuck in it. But it's great food for animals in the wintertime when they don't have any other food to access because of all the snow.
I'm helping them.
Yeah, you are. That's great.
Yeah. And then yesterday, I think it was yesterday morning, we saw a little squirrel. And he was on the tree, and I was like, come on, because it was in the middle of the day, and I was like, go for the pumpkin, and he went in, and I saw him taking little seeds and put them in his mouth, and then he'd run to his little hidey hole, and then he'd come back and get some more. And so really, it all worked out for the best.
That's very cute. You would do well with a trail cam, I think. Something.
Oh my goodness, yes.
To capture the motion happening in your backyard with all the little animals that might be going back there.
Yeah, we have a camera on the whole front of our house, and kind of it sees like the side if someone were to come up on the side, because you can't really get to our backyard, like there's no street access or anything,
right?
But I want to get one in the backyard too. We have motion sensor lights back there, so they flip on for stuff, but if we're sleeping, that doesn't help us.
No, exactly.
But I do want to get the same camera we have on the front and the back.
That's a good idea. Can you set those up for motion so that or is that what they are?
So we have the Google Cam, the newer one.
Right.
And we have a Google whatever account for the security. So ours records constantly because we pay for it.
Perfect.
And then you can set it to give you notifications for certain things. So we have, for our front one, we get notifications for any people on our property or any cars on our property, but we turned off animals.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Well, yeah, but you can turn it on. So in the backyard, I would have that on.
Yeah, you want to get all the little animals in your backyard.
Yeah.
They could be having a nice little woodslandy, tea time at night. You don't even know.
Don't even, because I would love that too much.
I know you would. I love this. This is so great.
Yeah, I was really excited. My husband, less excited.
Yeah, I bet. Does he think of squirrels as rodents?
Well, he just didn't want it in his barbecue.
I mean, that's fair. I can understand that.
Yeah, and he also didn't want the squirrel bringing the pumpkin guts up into the barbecue.
Yeah, I can understand that as well. Oh, you'll have some nice little... I don't even want to think about what that would do. You just turn on the barbecue and melt it all away. It's fine.
Oh my God, what if there's a squirrel in there?
Not with a squirrel.
Megan,
I mean the pumpkin guts. You can turn it on and get rid of the pumpkin guts and not worry about it, because the fire will just burn it all away. I hope to God there is no squirrel inside of the barbecue. Oh boy, that's good. Do you guys barbecue in the wintertime?
I don't really barbecue anymore since I gave up meat last year.
True.
Because veggie burgers, I tried putting one on the barbecue. It did not go well. My husband was not happy because they're just kind of mushy.
Okay.
So then it just kind of mushed into the barbecue and made a real mess.
Oh,
and
no.
He was displeased.
How do you cook them otherwise?
In a frying pan.
Okay. And it keeps the shape well, or?
Yeah, it stays together in a frying pan fine with like a spatula when you're flipping it.
Yeah.
But because the barbecue has the grill,
right,
it just started kind of going through the grill. So instead of a burger, I had a mush on my plate.
That's fair.
So I think he barbecued maybe in like December. He made hot dogs or something for himself.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. So
I feel like if we both ate meat, he would probably barbecue more.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know some people who put the barbecue away in the wintertime, which is crazy in my opinion. I think that it should always be ready and available any time of year.
Yeah. Well, especially if something happened and we lost power and we needed to cook something.
True. Yeah, exactly. And you can always get the pans. You can just put it on the grill so it's flat,
Yeah.
so you don't have to worry about the grill part.
Yeah, I like corn on the cob cooked on a grill.
Yes, corn on the cob is
I
really
feel like
yummy
every
too.
episode for the last month we end up talking about food.
It's so true. I don't know how this happens.
We're getting really sidetracked.
I-
Okay, so here we are. I have a new familiar. It's possibly a squirrel and it might live in my barbecue. I don't know.
We'll find out in spring.
Yeah, I'll name it and let everybody know it's a cute name. Or you can comment on our Instagram. I'll send a picture. Oh, I'm not going to send a picture to you all. That wouldn't be good.
To your personal emails, just send
Everyone give me your cell phone and I'll text you a picture of my sacrificial pumpkin in between the two trees. No, I'll post it on the Instagram for this episode. So scroll to the end and you'll see my pumpkin in between two trees, as long as it's still there tomorrow morning when I wake up.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's creepy too because where my yard is, there's a street or some kind of light on like the next property behind us, but it's far away. So we get very like a gentle glow, but you can barely see it. And the way it hits right between those two trees.
Oh, really?
So I can just see this half-eaten pumpkin slightly glowing at night. It's the only thing I can see in my backyard.
Okay,
and I'm terrified I'm going to look out there and like Slender Man's going to be above it or something. Or like a gremlin's going to be eating out of it.
If anything, you're going to see like a deer with its head in, or like the squirrel grabbing it with its little
Oh my God, I'd be
paws.
so excited.
Stuff in his face.
There were some kind of large birds in my backyard the other day. Pheasants, maybe? They were huge.
Yeah, probably pheasants. We have a lot of pheasants around here.
Yeah, I tried to throw birdseed at them and they got terrified and ran away. And I was like, please, no.
Like throwing this foreign object at these poor birds.
Literally, I'm just hucking seeds at them, being like, please. Because there was snow everywhere and I wanted them to get some seeds.
That's fair.
But when I was walking out of my deck, the snow was crunching and they were like, oh no, this is danger.
They'll go back and they'll get the seeds after you leave.
I hope so. I felt very much, please let me love you.
They definitely didn't feel that way.
No, they did not love me back. I'm not a fan.
No.
Do not recommend. Here we are. Happy Imbolc to anyone that celebrates Imbolc.
I did hear about Imbolc. We're doing diversity moments at work right now, and they're teaching everybody about these different things that happen for different cultures
amazing.
and stuff. Yeah, so I'm learning all about that kind of stuff, which is very cool.
That is amazing.
So it means the halfway point between the whatever you call it, winter solstice and spring equinox.
Spring equinox.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So that means we're on the way up back to spring. Yay!
It is. Yeah, it's all about looking for the first signs of spring, and I believe it means in the belly because it's kind of like when animals have little babies in their belly.
That's right.
And if you follow a pagan religion, it's when the goddess is a new mom, and it's all about, you know, looking for those little flowers that start to perk up.
Yeah. So everybody look for that in between the snow patches.
Yeah. I had some plans for Imbolc. Me and some friends, we had some plans to make Breed's crosses, which is the goddess that you kind of worship for this holiday. And you use, you know, reeds or grass or straw to make these little, they're not, I guess it is kind of a cross. It's like a little cute little pattern thing. And you're supposed to leave it on your doorstep and it protects you. And
that's really
we
sweet.
all planned on doing it, but there's just many feet of snow outside. So we were all like, yes, we're not doing that.
Probably not right now anyway.
Yeah.
So because of all the snow, you didn't get to Cirque du Soleil, I take it?
No, I did not get to Cirque du Soleil because we had a snowstorm. So prepare for that story at a later date, which was great because also the activewear I ordered arrived yesterday. So
ooh, that's exciting.
Except I'm a weirdo and I haven't tried it on yet.
Oh well, you'll probably try it on the day before or the day of.
Literally. That is just what I do.
Yep, that's fair. I do the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, we got like, what was it? Almost a foot or just over a foot of
Oh, it had to be over a foot.
I think it was over a foot. Just 25 centimeters, I think I saw. Which I don't know what that equates to in inches.
I thought it was 30 centimeters.
It could be where you are. I think we have different.
It's a lot.
You guys get where you are. We're not that far apart. We're probably about a 20-minute drive apart. And where Nikki lives, they get way more snow than where I live for some reason. It's like an anomaly over there.
Oh my God. You should see the end of my driveway from shoveling so much. It's like twice my height.
Whoa.
On both sides. It's very large.
I hope we don't have another winter of 2020 or what was it, 2015, where we had just like snowbank.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't even shovel the snow up anymore because I could not shovel that high in the air. I felt like when I was backing into my driveway, I felt like I was driving into an igloo. Like the sides went up so high. They even stopped plowing the sidewalks. Like that was a brutal
I lived on a
winter.
street that was a hill then.
Yes.
And there was so much snow that people would try to make it up the hill to go home and they couldn't. So the street was just abandoned cars for 3 days.
Oh my God.
It was just littered. And there was no rhyme or reason to them. They were just all, because people would try and they would slide. So they would just throw on their e-brake and be like, nope, I'm going to walk home. So there was just a mishmash of cars everywhere.
And not perfectly parked either. Just like in the middle
in the middle of the street, sideways, backwards. It was not good.
Yeah. Oh man, I have a lot of videos of people trying to drive up the street that I lived on because it was like a gradual hill, but it was a big hill, and people would just get stuck at the top because they would slow down or they'd have to stop for traffic going the other way before they turned, and nope, they weren't going anywhere.
Oh, well, good news. We have another snowstorm in tomorrow.
Tomorrow going into Friday, so that'll be interesting. I already told my work I'm working from home the next 2 days. So
great, I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time for story time.
Absolutely. I am here for story time. I have my nightcap on. I have my pajamas on. I'm ready. Tell me a story.
Oh my goodness. You're going to have to post a picture of that for everybody, Megan.
Me and my nightcap.
Yeah.
I actually wish
when I hear nightcap, I think of like a nice little alcoholic drink. So that'll tell you where my mind goes. Like a nice little nightcap, you know?
I think that is what it is. I don't know why I said nightcap for it. I was thinking of the little hat that people wear in stories when they're in their nighties and nightcaps. I don't know.
Moving on.
Anyway.
So my theme was haunted knickknacks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was actually hard to find a story that was long enough.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, because any of the ones that were well known and had a lot of information, they've just been done by every other podcast or documentary.
Yeah, or they're short because there's not a whole lot of information on them.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because we just took up like 20 minutes of the podcast.
I know. Well, lucky for you, I followed my Wiccan heart and I found something that's pretty wild.
Oh, good. I can't wait. Does it get better as it goes? Because I feel like that's your track record now.
Always. It just gets worse until it's over.
Okay, perfect. I am ready. I'm bracing myself.
Megan, do you know what scrying is?
Is that when you look into your orb and you can see? Is it?
I'm so proud of you.
I only know that from like, I don't know. Was it? Oh shoot. I forget what show it was. I used to watch a cartoon and they used to say they were scrying in their little crystal ball or something. Anyway. Yeah. Okay.
So, welcome to Grimdark Scrying 101.
Ooh. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, there'll be 4 essays and 1,000 multiple choice exam due, and make sure you take notes. Each multiple choice has 8 options, so
can I just
there'll be a lot of studying.
Proactively fail this class and just
and the questions are very subjective, so good luck.
Okay, perfect.
It's my favorite. It's all relative. Choice. When every answer is correct and they ask which one is the best.
That's a relative question.
I hate that.
Yes.
I took, short side note, in my previous career, I was a financial consultant, and so I had to get my mutual funds license, and I had to get my life insurance license so that I could sell life insurance, and the exams were 4 hours each, I think, And they were the most the mutual funds one, not so subjective because there's a lot of math.
True.
But the life insurance one, it would be like, this person needs this kind of life insurance. Which combination, like all these combinations would work. Which combination is best?
Wow.
I'm like, this is awful.
I hate that for you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then I swore to never take another exam again after those. And then I got my new current job and I had to take an exam in my first 3 months. So here we are. Have you ever gazed up at the clouds and thought that they looked like objects or animals?
I absolutely did. I used to do so much sky gazing as a kid when I was a kid. I still do it now, but mostly at stairs. But I definitely did that. I'd lay on the grass and look at the clouds and I would point out each one that looked like different shapes and stuff. Yeah, I did that all the time.
Well, that is actually considered a form of scrying by some people.
No way.
Yes.
That's cool. How so?
So when most people do it, they're obviously not looking for a higher meaning. So they just see animals or funny shapes and they don't interpret those shapes into a greater meaning. But that's what someone who is scrying would do.
Okay.
So you look for something and then you would interpret it to have a greater meaning that's specific to you. If you've ever watched some form of media where someone looks into a crystal ball, that's also scrying. In its most basic form, scrying is looking into a medium of some sorts in order to receive some kind of message or interpret a meaning. Where the message you receive comes from is up to debate depending on what your beliefs are. Some people believe the message is from the beyond, or from a higher power, or any other realm that isn't our own, where other people believe it is just your subconscious sending you signals. But the importance of the message and where it comes from doesn't really matter. It's the meaning that you're able to derive from it that's important. Often in the media, gazing into a crystal ball, someone is able to see the future, but that's not really how it works. The future can't really be seen. It can only be speculated based on your present moment information. So you can't see into the future, but you can make an assumption on how future events might unfold based on what you see in your current message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not straight up being like, this will happen in the future, but it's saying, hey, this is the path for you.
This is how it could turn out.
Path,
yeah.
You know, this is how it's going to turn out.
Right.
The word scrying actually comes from the Old English word descry, which means to make out dimly or to reveal. So scrying is all about revealing the unseen through the use of our second sight. Our second sight is our ability to see things that can't usually be perceived through our five senses. Sentences? Senses.
That's the 5 sentences that we like to use.
The 5 sentences. We all know those, right?
Yep.
They'll be on the exam.
That's right.
They'll be worth 80%. Make sure you know the 5 sentences.
Sorry.
Very important.
We're not telling you what they are.
I feel like everyone has had experiences where they just felt something in their gut and they made a decision based on that, or they changed their course of action, even though they didn't physically see, hear, or feel the thing they wanted to avoid. They just felt like something needed to be changed.
100%.
Megan, I feel like you have very strong second sight.
I very much do have very strong.
Yes.
I have constantly lived my life in following my gut intuition. And it has always led me in the right direction. Like, I've never had something happen where, you know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head where it was like an example where I'm like, oh, I was going to do this. I listened to my gut, didn't do that. And then that happened. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have those kind of specific examples, but when it comes to making decisions, or when it comes to anything else in, like, just on your daily path, whatever you're doing, like, there's always, if something isn't right or if something is going to happen and you don't want to even find out, you will feel that in your gut. And I always trust it 100% of the time. So I don't know what would happen if I had continued down that path, but I always let it lead me the way that I'm supposed to go. So, yeah.
I feel like you tell me a lot of stories. Like very often when you tell me stories, they involve you or like I had a feeling or like I just knew something was off.
Yep.
Very, very often your stories involve that.
Absolutely. Yep.
So there you go. You have very strong second sight. So you'd be a pro scryer. You'd be very good at it.
That would be cool. How do I do it? Is this a lesson?
We're going to learn.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's like an endless amount of ways to do it. So scrying was first mentioned in the 10th century. I'm going to get to a haunted thing also. By the way, everybody, I realize we're in Grimdark Scrying 101 class, but this is going to lead us to a haunted knick-knack.
Well, we all remember my cringe story last week and how loosely cringy that it was. So we do what we want here.
This is how I fill an hour episode. As I said, things were not an hour, so I bulked it up a little. But this is important because then you understand the object in the story.
That makes sense.
So scrying was first mentioned in the 10th century in an ancient Persian text. Later, as Christianity rose to power, scrying was outlawed as a work of the devil. So a lot of cultures had to do it in secret, or it just kind of went away in a lot of towns. But almost every culture has used some form of scrying at some point. The Native Americans observed smoke for guidance. The Egyptians used oil gazing to gain wisdom. In 3000 BC in China, eggs would be cracked open and their contents interpreted. Ancient Greeks and Celts would gaze into different crystals. Nostradamus is believed to have used a small bowl of water as a scrying tool for all of his predictions. And I read one account that some cultures would use their own polished thumbnails for scrying.
Polished thumbnails?
Yes.
How?
So those babies must have been shiny.
I can't even imagine. I can't even get mine to grow past like the tip of my actual thumb because of how brittle they are, but I can't imagine reading anything off of them.
Yeah.
It's
right?
Interesting.
Well, the whole thing is you interpret what you see.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, reading tea leaves or anything like that. That is kind of along the same lines.
Joseph Smith even used scrying to help found the Latter-day Saints movement back in the 1820s.
What?
Yeah, he was scrying and that's how he knew to do it.
Wow.
His message in his scrying was to start that, so he did.
Interesting. That's news to me. I didn't know that.
One person that I found, he had an interesting approach. Dr. Morton Prince, a medical psychologist of the 19th century, used electric light bulbs in scrying experiments with his patients, so he made his patients stare into light bulbs.
I feel like
I don't like that one.
Probably not a good idea, especially coming from a doctor.
Because you know how you stare at a light and then you see spots and you blink and you can still see them?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is obviously not a medical doctor, a psychology doctor.
Yeah.
Would have different training, I suspect.
It's all about the results, so,
Yeah.
Short-term pain for long-term gain or something. What's the phrase? Is that the phrase?
Short-term pain for long-term gain, yep.
I love a good rhyme. I could literally do an entire episode on just scrying in different cultures because it is fascinating and there is a million different ways. One thing I didn't include, but I'm going to say it now. I told myself, I was like, no, Nikki, you got to cut it off. You can't talk about this all day. But it was very cool. There was some cultures that their warriors would use very reflective shields, like the metal in their shield. So before battle, they would scry by staring into the front of their shields to figure out how the battle was going to go and figure out everything about the battle. Yes. That's so cool.
Very cool. That's super interesting.
Right?
I like that.
In current times, scrying is still used and has largely evolved into a pagan practice, but you don't have to be pagan to experiment with it. It's just a form of divination to anyone looking for guidance of some kind. Mm-hmm. So just like how tarot cards are a form of divination, scrying is just another kind of divination. Everyone has different techniques for how they receive their messages. Some look for actual imagery in what they're looking at. You can either take that imagery at face value or interpret meaning from it. So, for example, if I were scrying and if I were to see a skull, if a normal person that hasn't been involved in different pagan things, they would be like, oh God, death.
Right.
But to me, when I see a skull, I think of the death card in tarot, which is actually a very positive card. And it means, you know, a cycle ends, but that means a new beginning and a new cycle is starting.
Right.
And so if I were to see that, that's how I would interpret that message, where I'm sure if Megan saw a skull in her thumbnail, she would feel very differently than me.
It would
and
be
she
a
may
little
see that as a bad
ominous,
omen.
maybe, yeah. Or some form of ending of something, which would be
exactly. So she would see it as an ending, but I would see it as something new is going to begin, like a cycle, because in a lot of pagan religions, it's death isn't seen as a bad thing. It's life is just a cycle, so it's seen as a positive thing.
Okay.
So it's all about how you choose to interpret the message and what it means to you. Some people enter a state of altered consciousness and allow images to float into their inner awareness. And then you would interpret this similar to a dream interpretation. Like you would take the images in your head and kind of figure it out. That is not really for me personally. I can't get my brain free flowing like that. I got too much anxiety. If I just tried to like relax and let thoughts flow into my head, I'd be stressing about just everything.
Well, I think that also goes along the lines of meditation and the things you learn when you are meditating. Like I over the last few years, I've done meditation apps, like just, you know, downloaded apps and stuff like that. And I do meditation, just like the calm sounds and the calm voices and stuff like that you hear, and like they guide your thoughts. So, you know, you focus on your breathing, and then your thoughts kind of filter away to something, and it's always either, you know, what's going on in your world, or it's, you know, something significant that might be going on in your world that you didn't even realize that was going on in your world, or something that you realize that you need to deal with that might be bigger than what you were thinking that it was going to be, and then you just need to bring it back and close your focus again to your breathing. Focus on your breathing, and then it's supposed to help with your anxieties as well. So I don't know if you practice meditation at all. Maybe you should.
As a Wiccan, I have to.
Oh, okay.
It's very hard for me.
Oh, well, and it's not
that
supposed
is part
to
of the
be,
practice.
I have heard from a lot of people that it is not something that you learn easily, quickly. Or
no, it's
even
the hardest part of the whole thing for me. I struggle with it.
Yeah.
Because I can't quiet my brain.
Yeah, that's fair. It's something that people even take courses on because they struggle with it as well. And I guess I just don't have trouble shutting my brain off, which...
Man, I wish I could.
It's all about bringing it back and focusing on your breathing, though. So that's kind of the main purpose of it, so that eventually that's what you can hold your focus on.
Someday I will be good at meditation.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it's kind of the same thing, interpreting those thoughts into what you need to do with that information, or whatever the case may be. So I don't know, that's kind of what I take out of it, I guess. Maybe I'm off base, but
no, I'm with you.
Okay. Perfect.
You're doing well so far in Scrying 101 class.
Excellent. I'm glad. I hope I pass the test later.
I hope you're almost done of your essay.
Out of my essay?
I hope you're almost finished
with
it.
Almost finished. Yes, I've written many pages already. Haven't you been watching? I'm like, I don't have paper in front of me. I can't even pretend.
It has to be on parchment, written with a quill as well.
I did not get
course requirements.
I didn't get the the supply list before class today.
Oh, damn. You're excused.
Thank you.
In modern times, lots of people still use crystal balls or bowls or cauldrons filled with water. You can also use fire or smoke, or some people use dripping wax. A big one that people use nowadays, and what our story is going to involve, is a black mirror. So are we all experts on scrying now? Yes?
Yeah. That's very interesting and very fascinating. Just because it goes very much along the lines with what I already believe about myself, and being able to do that.
Yeah, you have second sight for sure.
When I was looking at the clouds when I was a kid and seeing shapes and stuff, I would actually be thinking about how it could be interpreted into the stuff that I was going
goodness,
through with my life.
Megan was
but
scrying as a child.
I didn't really think anything of that until you said it. So, and it's not like I was going through some serious stuff when I was like 8. I mean, whatever kids go through, right?
Yeah. I also have a fun scrying fact since we are D&D nerds here.
Yeah.
Megan, I know you're not usually a magic user in D&D, not that I know of anyway, but did you know that there is a spell in Dungeons & Dragons for scrying?
I did not know that. Although my first D&D character was a druid and she did have spells, so.
Oh, damn.
She was a spellcaster.
Well, she would be able to use this. It is a divination spell that you can cast for up to 10 minutes and can be performed by a bard, cleric, druid, warlock, or wizard. It is cool because just like in real life, you need to have a focus with you to perform it. So your character needs to have a crystal ball or a silver mirror or something filled with water.
Cool.
That they can use as their scrying tool. Yeah.
Nice.
And then you can see and hear, this part is not accurate in real life, but in D&D, you can see and hear a particular creature or target location you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you. The target must make a wisdom saving throw, which is modified by how well you know the target and the sort of physical connection you have to it.
Interesting. That's when you get a whisper from the DM, which is always exciting.
Yes, I know. I love that.
Ooh, do I want to share this with the group or not?
Yeah.
I love it.
So now that we have had our knowledge is power moment of the day.
The more you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all better with more knowledge. So we laugh on Grimdark, but we learn
That's
too.
right. And knowing is half the battle.
Look for our after school special on a TV somewhere.
A TV somewhere. Just a random
I'm
TV.
sure somewhere.
It's only on the one TV though.
Yeah, gotta find it.
That's right. Maybe scrying will help you.
Yes, maybe. So our story today comes from Greg Newkirk, who is a paranormal investigator and founded the Week in Weird website with his wife, Dana Matthews. It is a really great site. It has all kinds of different articles on paranormal and extra normal stuff. It has a ton of content to read. So definitely check it out if that's kind of your jam and you like that stuff. Megan, you would love the site.
Yes.
It's very,
okay.
It's very up your alley.
I will check it out.
Yeah, we can put the link for it in the show notes maybe because my entire story is from Greg's account of something. So I use his story and he does an amazing job in it. His article is amazing. So definitely check it out, but also check out his whole site because everything he writes and everything that's written on there is so good.
Perfect.
Over the last 15 years of working in the paranormal and cryptozoological realm, whoa, that's a word.
I was like, what?
Greg has collected a decent assortment of items that are supposed to be haunted or cursed. Some of them are connected to famous cases like the Amityville house, but most are from cases he's actually investigated himself or they were items given to him by their previous owners. Once he started to collect a lot of items, he realized that it was getting weird to just keep all of them in his house, which he calls his headquarters.
That's awesome.
So he calls it Weird HQ, and I love that so much.
That's amazing.
I know. I'm like a little bit obsessed with Greg and his wife Dana.
Okay.
So prepare for that. They don't know it yet, but I might love them.
But they will.
Yeah. God. That sounded like a threat. Like I'm gonna be climbing in their windows or something. So Greg and his wife Dana decided to create what sounds like literally the coolest thing ever, and that I demand we visit someday, Megan.
Okay.
It is the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and the Occult.
Ooh. Okay.
Right?
That sounds awesome.
Right?
Traveling? Okay.
Because they have all these things in their house, so when they go to different cities and they bring all their stuff with them and set them up. So it goes like all across the states.
I love that. Yes.
Right?
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. And so they travel all across the US showing all this stuff, and they don't charge anything to go see it either.
What?
Right.
Why? I mean, good, but but also that I feel like that would be the reason why you would do something like that, is for money.
I don't know. They're just that cool. I have no idea.
Okay, I love that, because that means that they legitimately think these, or feel that these objects are haunted, and they want to prove it to people. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Once word of the museum spread, people started reaching out, trying to donate their haunted objects to the museum. Greg's article says he received lots of stuff from people. He has a burnt out Ouija planchette. He has creepy paintings. He even has a patch of somebody's graveyard dirt. I don't know.
That's creepy.
Right? With all of this haunted stuff, you'd think the museum would be swirling with spooky occurrences and ghosts. But Greg said most of the stuff mostly just had creep factor from its weird appearance or its scary backstory. He didn't actually witness, like when the stuff was in his house, it wasn't, floating or causing any issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a paranormal investigator, so he looks at things very logically. He's not going to just be like, oh, this is haunted. Right. He would examine it and see if it was actually displaying, behaviors of something that is genuinely haunted.
Right.
Then they brought in a new item that seemed to stir up all kinds of trouble and had to start actually locking up some of the items at night.
Oh.
Yeah. As Greg put it in his article, sometimes all it takes is introducing one bad apple and the whole bushel turns rotten.
Oh. Okay. This sounds juicy.
Right? Oh, apple juicy. Nice. I love it.
See what I did there?
In June of 2015, a woman approached them about an item that had been causing issues for her family. She didn't want to use her real name, so in the article they just call her Sarah. She told them that after visiting a yearly psychic expo with her mother, her mom had taken an interest in a black scrying mirror, so she purchased one of her own. That initially didn't raise any red flags because black mirrors are a super common medium for scrying. You can purchase them at a good price. They're on lots of websites like Etsy or eBay. I've also seen tutorials online about how you can make your own using just a dollar store mirror and then a particular kind of black spray paint that you can get at any hardware store.
Okay.
Because it's basically just a black reflective surface.
Okay.
Personally, I would not want a black mirror, though. If I was scrying, I would like a crystal ball.
A crystal ball.
But they are not cheap.
No.
So that's on my wish list.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, if anyone would like to get me a gift, you can email us. Crystal ball is on my wish list.
How many gifts are you waiting for still?
I know. No one has sent me any of the t-shirts I asked for.
We're just going to keep adding to the list, and someday.
Yeah, this is a pricey one, so I mean, True. It can be for like a really special occasion.
That's right. Nikki's birthday's coming up soon.
It is actually in a couple months.
Right.
I would like, probably first I would like a moonstone crystal ball, but only if it's the nice rainbow reflective moonstone. If it's just the black and white, not interested. Rose quartz is also my favorite crystal, so just,
This just went from like, it could be expensive, but now I just want the best.
Now I just want the best one.
That's right.
The finest moonstone you've ever seen,
That's
please. Right. Thank you.
No big deal.
Oh, and I'll need a stand as well.
That's right. Of course. Yeah, you can't just have a crystal ball rolling around.
No.
It's dangerous.
Oh my God. I have a story. That was actually a perfect segue.
Okay.
So a couple months ago, or it wasn't the winter time, so I don't know when it was, September maybe, either way, I was at a local metaphysical store in downtown Halifax. It's a really great store called Neighborhood Witch, and if anyone from here is into that kind of stuff, I highly recommend that store. It's just off of Spring Garden. It's great. Anyway, I was in there, and it's a very small store. Like, it's a very tight space, and I was in one part of the store. They have a wall of herbs, like different little bagged up herbs for stuff.
Okay.
So I was looking for something specific, and I'm standing there looking at the wall very intensely because I'm reading all of these different bags to find the ingredient I'm looking for. And there was a lady who was to my left, and she was maybe like a meter away from me, maybe like 1.5 meters. And then there was a wall there with a bunch of display things.
Yeah.
And I could see her in my peripherals looking, but I was intensely concentrating. And she knocked over a crystal ball that they had. Oh my God.
What?
It rolled on the shelf. It knocked over so many things.
Oh,
the building must be slanted because then it rolled off. It flew off of the shelf. It hit the ground and it started like flying, rolling through the store. It then went into a display of like hand carved wooden walking sticks.
Oh my
so
God.
then all of those fell over. Everything was so loud. From like the first clunk to knocking everything over. And it was knocking over like metal bowls and stuff. And then it hitting the ground. It probably fell like, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet and hit the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And then rolled and then knocked over all the wooden sticks. And then they all went and they started rolling.
Nothing broke?
Nothing broke.
How in the world?
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh, that crystal ball. Like, that must be a good quality crystal ball.
Right? That's what I was thinking too. I think it was just like clear quartz because it was just clear. But I almost, because I had a scarf on, like just an infinity scarf.
Yeah.
And I had a hat on and I had my mask on. So I was already kind of sweaty to begin with.
Right.
Was the store small, and then that happened and I was sweaty because A, it scared me, B, it was chaotic, and then C, I had like secondhand anxiety that she broke the crystal ball and would have to buy it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was very sweaty and panicking.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I'm
right?
So unbelievable that it didn't break anything. I'm just
I know.
at a loss for words there.
So back to our story.
Right.
Man, I'm getting sidetracked. This might end up being our first 2-parter.
It might be.
Because I literally just started the story.
Yep,
okay,
and we're
so
47 minutes in. Cool.
So Sarah said that the weeks after the expo, when her mom brought the mirror, where her mom bought the mirror, she became increasingly distant from her family as she practiced her scrying. When Sarah was able to finally get her mom on the phone, her conversations were kind of full of doom and gloom and very vacant. Like, you know, when you call somebody and you can tell that they're distracted, like they're doing something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because they have the standard responses to your comments.
Yep.
And then
they just say yep a
yeah,
bunch.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly. And then it's like, what did I just say? I don't remember.
Yeah, so she had that going on every time she called. Then her mom admitted to her, no matter what she did, she was not able to successfully use the mirror for scrying. She said she thought that there was something wrong with the mirror. As the weeks went on, Sarah's mother became more and more withdrawn from her family and her usual life and what she normally would do. She was so hyper-focused on perfecting her divination skills. It started to become a full-on obsession. Sarah eventually had enough, so she went over to her mom's home and she demanded to see the mirror for herself. Her mom was super distraught when she asked, but she went into a closet and pulled out this small frame that was draped in a black veil. Sarah asked her why she would need to have it A, locked up in a closet, and B, covered up with this veil. And her mom admitted that she thought the mirror was evil. She broke down into tears and was just so upset over the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Obviously, it's been weighing on her for some time.
Yeah, because it had been weeks and weeks at this point.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad.
Sarah decided that she was going to keep the mirror. So she kept it covered up. She didn't take the veil off. She put it in a box and she took it home with her so she could get it out of her mom's house first until she figured out what to do with it. It was after that whole ordeal that Sarah reached out to Greg and Dana. At first, she just tried to talk herself out of thinking it was something actually bad and just told herself it was her mom taking her hobby way too seriously. But the mirror just honestly kept giving her a really uneasy feeling having it in her house. She was feeling it in her jellies. So then that's when she donated the mirror to the traveling museum under the promise of anonymity and regular updates on it from Greg and Dana. So they picked up the mirror and they decided to clear a space for it in their living room, and they set it up on the mantle, and it sat there quietly like most of their items with absolutely no issues. Well, this has so far been a particularly rambly episode, and I'm only halfway through my story. So, Megan, we're going to have a Grimdark first in history.
Ooh, what's the first?
Mark it in our history book that you're keeping, right?
I absolutely am, yes.
Right? You've been keeping track of everything in the book, right?
Just like I've been writing notes for the exam at the end of this episode.
Awesome. Good to hear. I think that we are going to do a 2-part episode.
Whoop, whoop. Wow.
Hurrah.
Okay.
I mean, not really hurrah, because you don't get the full story all in one.
No, true.
So to make this even more weird is that the second part of this episode is not going to be coming at you until, 2 weeks from now, because next week is our anniversary episode, our 1-year anniversary.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Super excited.
Right. So unfortunately, you're going to be on cliffhanger extraordinaire, and I know you're just all absolutely dying to hear the rest of the story.
I mean, damn,
because the first part of it was pretty much a history lesson, and I know that you're so excited to learn.
Yeah, but if we all know Nikki, we know it's only going to get worse. That is Nikki's
it only gets
slogan.
worse. So
that's right.
the juiciest stuff will be in part 2.
Exactly.
So part 2 will be coming at you in 2 weeks' time.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Well, so this is going to be different. So we didn't actually fully discuss this. Megan and I made a plan right before we started recording. So I'm just freeballing it right now. Normally, Megan would roll for her category, but instead, she's not going to do that because next week is our 1-year podiversary.
It'll actually be, when this episode comes out, it'll be tomorrow. So February 11th will be our 1-year anniversary of the first episode we ever released out in the world. Unbelievable. We made it 1 year.
Right?
This all started from a very drunken New Year's Eve party idea.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, here we are 1 year later.
Right? So we decided that we would like to have I didn't workshop the title like I said I would.
Oops.
1 year Grimdark extravaganza, palooza, shindig.
Yes.
Banana Rama.
I thought you were going to say banana hammock.
I really wanted alliteration and I couldn't think of any G words. So then I just thought of fun words.
Well, we might have a better name by next week that we can rename it to.
Maybe.
Okay.
So this is what we think we're going to do. And if we don't do this, too bad. But we just came up with this idea right before. So this is what's going down. We're each going to bring 3 amazing stories to the table, obviously smaller stories, because that'll be a total of 6 things we're bringing to the table in one episode, which is a lot to put in your ear holes. We are each going to find a cool true crime thing. I don't know if cool is the right word. We're going to each find a true crime thing. We're going to each find a paranormal thing. And then our third thing is going to be DM's choice, so Dungeon Master's choice, and we're going to find whatever the heck we want.
That's right.
So that's how we roll in Grimdark. We do what we want.
We do what we want. I feel like that is our official slogan.
Yeah. Take your Grimdark energy into the world and do whatever you want.
That's right.
Unless it will hurt others or yourself, then
right.
don't.
Do not do those.
Or at least don't tell anyone that Grimdark told you if
and
you do.
Stay within the local laws of your state or
province.
Sure.
So that is the exciting episode that you will get next week. we're not really sure what we're doing. We're going to workshop it until that day. So
that's right.
It'll be like that. And we'll kind of alternate stories. So we'll each tell each other a story. And they'll be fun little short stories. Because we often say we find these cool stories. And we're like, oh, I was doing research and I found this cool thing. But it was too short. So I couldn't do an hour-long episode.
Yeah.
So now we just got to remember all those things that we
I definitely did not save any of those.
No.
Now we're gonna struggle trying to find anything.
Yeah. And maybe we'll have more cool things next week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't like really count on that. But maybe it'll be a nice surprise.
That's right. We've been really busy, so this is what you get.
I know. Well, plus usually we each get a week off, but now I don't because now we're both doing work next week.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be real with you. I'm a little stressed about it. And my stories might be really subpar. So Megan, you're going to really need to bring your A game.
I will bring my A game for sure. Yeah. I'll spend all weekend
Thank
on
you.
them. Yep.
You're going to have to carry
I'm excited.
both of us next week.
Okay. No problem. Can do. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us for this lovely episode that Nikki did today. If you would like to follow us on social media, you know how to find us. We are at the Grimdark Diaries on Instagram and Facebook. We are also at Grimdark Diaries on Twitter, and we also have an email. So if you would like to share any of your haunted objects with us, we would love to hear about them. And you can send those to thegrimdarkdiaries@gmail.com.
And I'll put my pumpkin picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because I know everyone is dying to see my half-eaten pumpkin outside.
Absolutely. Everybody wants to see that just as bad as you want to share it, Nikki. If you're listening to us on an Apple podcast today, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star review. 5-star rating is what I meant to say. And then also a review. Comment and let us know how much you love us. It has to be 5-star though, because otherwise you bring us down and that just makes us sad, and you don't want us to be sad. So
then we'll send a haunted object to you.
Ooh. Yeah, you don't want that, do you? Or maybe you do. Wait, no, let's not do that. Any other podcast platforms that you were on, if it is Spotify, they allow 5-star ratings now. So if you want to give us a 5-star rating, that would be awesome. Anything that your podcast does, we would love it if you subscribe, like, follow, etc., whatever you can do on that podcast platform. That would be great. And if you have a promo that you want us to air on our show sometime, then reach out to us at our email and we can discuss doing that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And you can join us next week to see what we come up with for our whatever the heck Nikki said it was called.
No, you have to repeat the whole thing.
The Grimdark.
Don't forget the Banana-rama at the end.
Extravaganza, bonanza, what? Banana. I almost said.
Oh, I certainly don't remember.
Okay. Okay, everybody. Enjoy, and we will see you next week. And remember, a friend in the dark beats alone in the light.